thank the boosters and Matucci's for having us. First of all, I want to just say how impressed I am with the senior class. I want to give them another round of applause. Very impressive. Pretty neat group. Ironically enough, you guys have mentioned Penn State, Bloomsburg, Coastal Carolina, and am I forgetting one? Mount Aloysius. So the schools that all you guys named, I went to 4 schools. So I'll backtrack a little bit and then I'll touch on that a little bit later. I don't want to bore you guys to death. I'm just going to talk about my experiences as a baseball player, as an athlete, the importance of education, getting your degrees, and like I said, hopefully it doesn't bore you to death. So I was born and raised in Williamstown, Pennsylvania. Went to Williams Valley High School. I was born into a baseball family. My dad played baseball at Kutztown University. My brother, older brother, he was always the better athlete. He graduated in the same year as Brenton. Brenton, I believe, also you guys are very fortunate to have him as a head coach. Correct me if I'm wrong, you won a state title in high school as a freshman? Sophomore, 2007. So you have a proven winner there. Played at college. You guys are really fortunate to have him as a head coach. About myself, go back to my Little League days. That's where I'll start. I'm sure a lot of you guys are playing high school. You're seniors now. A lot of you guys were all-stars in Little League. I was very fortunate to have great coaches. My dad, Paul Herb, to name a few. And I was surrounded by a lot of great athletes that pushed me along the way. My best friend, Tyler Herb, he's playing for the San Francisco Giants. He was on their 40-man roster for spring training. Me and him grew up together, played Little League together, and there are countless other players that, even looking back from playing Little League, that went on to play college and had successful careers and got their degrees. Fast forward to high school, my first love was football. I know we're in football country here at Mount Carmel. You guys are probably, if not the #1 team in the state, recognizable. You're up there, top 5. So I know we have some football players here. First love was football. Lettered in football my freshman year, all the way through my senior year. Baseball, going back to baseball. Baseball my freshman year was the only sport I didn't letter in. I thought, man, I was an all-star going up through. And baseball is a way of humbling you. It's a game of failure. It teaches you a lot of life lessons. Has a real good way of humbling you. When you get to the 9th grade, you're like, oh, I'm going to start varsity. This is easy. You get there. There's a bunch of seniors. You got a lot of talent around you. Just push through those hard times, as you guys obviously have. Now you're blessed with a great coach, and you guys have 31 kids out for your team. It's refreshing to see that all this support for baseball. I mean, my program that I came from, Williams Valley, we're really down right now. We only have 14 kids out for the team, so those younger kids aren't going to get to play mostly. There's no JV team. Don't want to talk too much about the negatives, but the importance of being a good teammate when you have a core group like that of 31 kids and you have 8 seniors, you guys can really be influential to the kids and show them, like, hey, I'm gonna take you aside here. You have a lot of talent. Show them what it means to be a Mount Carmel Red Tornado, and what it means to be a successful baseball player. Let's see here. So in high school, like I said, my first love was football. Wrestled, played baseball. Baseball came on late for me. So a lot of coaches are going to tell you, work hard, know your goals, where you're going to go. Baseball came on real late. I had a lot of success in high school, like Tom had mentioned. I decided to go to the University of Georgia in April of my senior year. I was dead set on playing football. Some things had happened, and baseball is the avenue that I utilized to get my education. That's what I would stress to you guys. No matter what skill level you're at, don't get hung up on a label. So I played at 2 D1s, a JUCO and NAIA. Some of the best baseball I played was at my JUCO and NAIA. A lot of guys are going to say, oh, D1, and if you don't go D1, it's a bust. There's D1, D2, D3, NAIA, JUCO. There's good baseball everywhere. Even if you don't want to play baseball at the next level and you have a passion for it, right now I'm working for Major League Baseball in New York City, and I'm a replay administrator for the Replay Operations Center. So a lot of those guys only play high school ball, and that's nothing to hang your head about. They had a passion for it. They either were a manager, a statistician, some way, a student coach got involved with the team in some aspect when they went to college, or just hang out, if you're really into sports, you could be get with the sports information director, ask the athletic director, hey, is there anything I can do to get in the office and get around this atmosphere if that's the avenue you want to take. So baseball came on really late, and this is where a lot of my life lessons took place. So I had a lot of success. I worked really hard, and the success that I had, I believe, was earned. And everything kind of fell into place for me all the way through high school. So everyone says about D1, I was blessed to be at a little small school, get to play the 3 sports that I love. Georgia came knocking, went to my dream school, which I was a Georgia Bulldogs fan since I'm a little kid, ironically enough. So everything just fell into my lap, which I didn't realize how fortunate I was until I got to college. And then, just like I said, when I was a 9th grader, it's an eye-opener. You get there, everyone's throwing 90, 92. They have better off speed. Everyone's hitting the ball 400 feet. It's like, wow, I really got to put work in. And some things happened there. I redshirted. My red shirt got burnt, which was a very, very unique experience in itself. We had some arms go down. I ended up playing there, only pitched 3 innings as a freshman, so I'm sitting there like, wow, this is an eye-opener. Ended up leaving, went to a junior college, State College of Florida in Bradenton, Florida. I got there, and I was telling Brenton before, when I got there, I called my dad. I said, Dad, you're not going to believe this. He said, what? I said, there's more talent here on this team than there was at Georgia. And he asked me, the first question he asked, he said, are you going to pitch? And I said, I'm going to do my best. And I found a lot of success at junior college. I was blessed to have a lot of good coaches there. Really developed me as a pitcher. I ended up leading the nation in wins. So when you guys go to college, whether it's baseball, life, grades, there's going to be highs and lows. I'm blessed to have a great support system. My girlfriend here, Emily, we've been together 9 years. Haven't popped the question yet. High school sweetheart.
I could do it tonight. That'd be a first.
So, great support system, just with my girlfriend and my mom and dad, brother, sister. Really grew up in a tight-knit family, but found a lot of success at junior college. So I was at low, Georgia, lost my scholarship, go to JUCO, get a scholarship, led the nation in wins, really feeling high about myself. Got another Division I scholarship. I had offers from a lot of different places. So from my experiences as a freshman, I decided I'm going to go to a smaller Division I. It's about the size of Bloomsburg. It was called the University of Central Arkansas. Really liked the coaches there. They just came off a super regional loss to Mississippi State. They were 1 game away from the World Series. They lost their 2 starting pitchers, their top 2 end guys in the rotation. I said, this is a good fit for me. So I go there, everything's good. Everything's like starting to fall into my lap again. I'm really focusing on baseball, and everything seems to be going the right direction. And fall went great. Got a lot of scout letters on pro day, and I had all my eggs, not in one basket, but my education was going, but it was all baseball. All baseball, do my grades, pass, do what I need to do. It was all baseball. Then another huge eye-opener. So we start the spring season. We open up the first game. I get a save against Missouri State. They have me at the back end of the rotation, or back end of the bullpen. Felt a little tenderness in my arm. Didn't think much of it. It's been there pre-season. You know, your arm gets sore, you just throw through it. So, turns out, 2 weeks later, I'm throwing a guy who recruited me in high school from New Jersey Institute of Technology. We're playing in Abilene, Texas. He said, what's wrong with Ben? My coach said, what do you mean? He said, he's throwing 83, 85 miles an hour. So, that was a lot different than 92, 94. So I ended up getting an MRI, Tommy John. Whole new life experience there. It's very low of lows because you're like, am I ever going to play again? Then I lost my scholarship at Central Arkansas. So here I am back to the drawing board again. I'm at home. I'm rehabbing with Bill Halco and Pine Grove. I don't know where it's going to take me in the path. I tried to go to Millersville, Shippensburg, try to stay close to home. The NCAA, the wonderful monster that they are, there's a bylaw that if you're a 4.244 transfer, whole other hour story, you can't transfer down without doing a year in residency. You can't appeal that residency. You can't appeal till you're enrolled in an institution. So it's a big leap of faith, and the coach was very honest and upfront with me at Millersville and said, there's no way you're going to win this appeal, but you can look into NAIA. So I had no clue what NAIA was. They were just acronyms. And I got a call from a coach in Miami who watched me pitch in junior college. And he said, you're going to have 2 years of eligibility. I believe in you. And at this point when he's telling me this, I'm working at AT&T, arms in a sling on a 90-degree angle, can't do anything. And I'm like, oh, okay, if you believe in me, I'm going to do everything in my power to get back to play collegiate baseball. So I took that semester off. I enrolled in January at St. Thomas University, which is a Hispanic school based in Miami. So that was a little bit of a culture shock for me. I had some of the best friends I made were, I mean, you guys know, coming from an area like this, our coaches would address the team in Spanish. I would just sit there and shake my head. I had no clue what was going on. I had teammates from Cuba. Both my coaches were from Cuba. But they could break it down. They were very, very good, honest people. Great coaches. Did I know what they were saying half the time? No. I just went there, wanted to play baseball, took a leap of faith, and actually fell on a major that I love, academics. Now this brings it back to the academics. So when I was working at AT&T, this was another eye-opener for me, that life can hit you hard and it can hit you fast. So there I am out of high school. Oh, people probably thought, oh, Ben, he has the world by the you-know-what, and he's going to the University of Georgia on a great scholarship, and here I am 3 years later. I did have an associate's degree, but associate's degree working at AT&T, arm in a sling, thinking, man, what am I going to do? It really reevaluate your life. So I get there. The coach took a leap of faith on me, bringing a guy in that can't pitch right away. I rehab. I came back 12 months and 7 days after Tommy John, and I made my debut for St. Thomas in a midweek game against a Division II school, because the one thing about NAIA is they play everyone. You play schools that you don't even know that was a school, and then we played the University of Miami, we played all the D2 schools, they just play anyone they can get on the schedule. So fast forward 5 months, this is my redshirt junior year, we're playing in Lewiston, Idaho, the home of the World Series for Collegiate World Series NAIA, and we're playing, and I was getting spot starts and trying to do the best I could for my team. I threw 2 days prior to the championship that we made, which we made an epic comeback. We were down 3-0 with 1 out in the 9th inning against the #1 team in the country, and we got a rally, tied it up, beat them 6-3 in extra innings. So the coach comes to me and said, you got the ball in the national championship. Now, I saw you guys right after you finished eating, everyone's on their cell phone. So I was the pitcher who went viral for being the 300-pound pitcher. I don't know if you saw it the other year. It was everywhere. So I'm sure in our area that you guys at least maybe had seen it or a video. But that opportunity that was presented to me by that coach was to throw in the national championship game was just an experience of a lifetime. We're playing Lewis and Clark, which is one of the most heralded baseball programs in the country at any level. They've been to, 35 World Series. They have countless guys that have been drafted and guys that have made the major leagues. Just a great program. You're on their home turf, 6,000 fans all rooting against you, and we're playing them in this Hispanic school from Miami. I'm one of the few white kids on the team, and it was a great life experience. And when I got pulled from the game, it was 7-1, and we ended up losing 10-7. Sadly enough, we ran out of pitching at the end. But great life experience. Fast forward to my summer of that year, I was blessed with the opportunity to play in the Cape Cod League, which was some of the best amateur baseball players in the country. I had a lot of success there. So here we are again, high. Just had success against some of the best amateurs in the country. A lot of scouts talking to him like, wow, this might be a possibility again. But reverting back to when I got to St. Thomas after I reevaluated my life and thought like, anything can happen. I picked sports administration as my major. I said, I don't care how long it takes, I'm going to pick a major that I like, because another thing that the NCAA does is they don't tell you all the ins and outs of it. When you transfer so much, you need transferable credits to go to those schools or you're not eligible. So they say, here's 5 majors out of 100 majors, pick one, and so you're eligible to play, which makes sense, but you're kind of handcuffed by that. So I said, I'm going to be a sports administration. I've always had a passion for athletics. I love football, wrestling, baseball, basketball, soccer, you name it, I love to watch it. So when I enrolled in January, I was like, I'm going to do sports administration. I took 18 credits to try to catch up, 18 credits on top of baseball, taking classes in the summer, really trying to just catch up to finish near on time after taking the semester off and transferring so much. So reverting back a little bit again, So your experiences might vary. You might have smooth sailing, go to Penn State, Maine, become an engineer. You know, I heard you said you're going to be an engineer. I can't remember your name, but I know you're a third baseman. Might be smooth sailing right through, land a great job. For other people, it might be a little rocky. Just keep pushing forward. Got to my senior year. Senior year starts, a lot of attention. Didn't really perform that well. Moved me to the number 1 in the rotation. I was like 3-3 with a 4-something ERA. A lot of no decisions, but finished on time. Graduated that May. I was really proud of that. I could catch up. I did 18 credits in the spring, an internship, coached our JV team. It was a pitching coach there, and played. So it was a lot on my plate that year. We were 1 game away from the World Series. That year it was tough to lose the way we did. Just that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. And going on to professional baseball, I didn't think much would happen in the draft just because of the way I performed and being old for baseball standards, not 21, 22. So pro ball came along in an odd fashion. I got asked by this startup league, which was a great life experience, even though I probably wouldn't do it again. If you know a little bit about independent ball is not affiliate ball. So it isn't like you got picked up as a free agent by the Reading Phillies or by the Phillies and landed in Williamsport for the Crosscutters or down in Clearwater. So independent ball is a little different, where it's still for professional baseball. You're getting paid, but you're on the grind. So I went to this little league called the Empire League in New York. It was New York, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire. They had some teams all over the place. Had some success there. The talent was decent, but that landed me an opportunity to pitch for the Lancaster Barnstormers, which was what I would like to say like legitimate professional baseball. Now my numbers weren't very good there. Pitched a little bit, a lot of great life experiences. Just I played with some major leaguers. Corey Burns, not any big household names, but Corey Burns, Pete Androlzik, Evan Meek, the guy who gave up Derek Jeter's last hit. He was on my team, so that was neat to pick his head and be like, how did that feel? And he's like, it was bittersweet. I mean, you know, the greatest players of all time, you give up the last hit he's ever going to have, walk off against the Orioles. So my coach there was Butch Hobson, who actually played football for Bear Bryant and baseball at Alabama, which was a neat experience in itself. And he was a big league manager. He played in the big leagues. Just to be around that atmosphere from where I was before to thinking, wow, I get to play professional baseball and be around these guys that are paying me to be here and throw an inning here and there. So that was a great life experience. And coming full circle, last year, went to spring training. I was one of the last guys cut. Was one of the last guys cut. Another little low point. You don't really want it to end, but I could kind of see that with the way my stats were going. And my arm didn't come back in full. I was probably about 88 to 91, which made a big difference. So going through, and I was like, what am I going to do now? So enrolled in my master's program. Stayed with St. Thomas just because I fell in love with the sports administration program there. Treated me really well, so I finished that in September. Applied for a job at the winter meetings in December with Major League Baseball. Landed the gig about 3 weeks ago. The advice I'll give to you guys as seniors, try to really buy in to Coach Eads. His dad's been around the game for a long time, and your other coaches, your assistants too. They're never going to tell you something that's not going to benefit you. Right at that moment, it's easy to be like, oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm a senior. I'm starting. Baseball's an eye-opener. When you're a senior, you think you have it figured out. You get to college, you're like, I really got to work. You get to the next level to pro ball, you're like, whew, I really got to work. And me and Brent were talking about one of the coaches at Minersville, Mr. Brophy. He got drafted out of high school by the Mets, and he said one of his biggest regrets was not going to Michigan State and getting to develop a little bit. So it's all just a learning experience. Try to really buy into the program. You guys are really fortunate, like I said, to have Brent as your coach. He's young, he's hungry. He's excited to have you guys. You have a lot of talent. I don't know what your record was last year, but just from what he spoke, you guys have a lot of good arms. Try to play fundamental defense, scrape away some runs, and you guys will be winning a lot of ball games. Try to be the best teammate you can be. Try to maintain good character. A lot of the time, what coaches look for, you can be one of the best players in the state, and if they come, they're watching everything. They're watching the way you take batting practice. They're watching the way you treat your teammates. They're watching if you're hustling on and off the field. If you strike out, you throw your bat, throw your helmet. You might not think anything of it. You're frustrated. With baseball being a game of failure, try to stay even keel. Those guys that can stay in the middle, not get too low, not get too high, they always seem to push through. So if you can maintain that good attitude of, yeah, I'm over for my last 8, go up there like you're 4 for 4, or you got shelled your last outing. That's behind you. Gotta be like, I like to say when I was in college, you gotta be like Eli Manning. Some years he comes out, he's 18 touchdowns, 24 interceptions. The next year he looks like his brother. So just have a short memory. Baseball's a game of failure. As long as you can stay even keel and keep a positive attitude, and I don't remember who the quote was by, but you're never as bad as you think you are when you lose, and you're never as good as you are when you win. Just try to stay that even keel. I don't know. I'm going to open up to questions. If you guys have any questions, I know I kind of rambled. I didn't have anything set in stone. I just wanted to talk about some basics and my experiences as a baseball player, some life experiences. Like I said, I'll leave it open to questions and answer anything you guys have for me. And thanks again for having me. I really appreciate it.
Quick question. I know a lot of the guys and most of the people here aren't don't know anything about NAIA.
Okay.
And I heard a lot of good things. A lot of private schools.
A lot of private schools.
But the competition is there.
So the way I like to explain NAIA, and just this year, Lawrence Tech, random school, they beat the University of Michigan in a midweek game. Real game, a lot of talent. NAIA, there's not much in Pennsylvania. You have one school, Point Park University out in Pittsburgh, right in downtown Pittsburgh, one building. Just, there's not much about it. I would say NAIA ball, to explain it to everybody, NAIA is just like D2. Your top level teams can compete with D1. They can compete wherever you throw them. The other thing with NAIA, the bottom half is really, really, really bad. So like where you have the worst team in the PSAC, they can still compete with their ace, their 2, and their 3. The bottom teams in NAIA, they're run wolves. I mean, so that would be the big difference, but there's a lot of opportunity in NAIA. There's a lot of opportunity in JUCO. Junior colleges are all over the country. Just have to find the right fit. And I did want to actually talk about this. I skipped over a little bit, so don't get so caught up on a label. So I don't know if you guys are going to play collegiate baseball, if you're not, whatever, doesn't really matter. Don't get hung up on the label like, I'm going to Penn State, Maine, and I'm going to do that no matter what. Or I'm going to Lackawanna Community College, or going wherever you end up, find the right fit. Because a lot of times in high school, everyone's always throwing at you, oh, you got to go D1, you got to go D1. If you don't go D1, you can go D2 to the PSAC, or go to a local D3 school. Go wherever the best fit is. You could have 3 offers from Division I's, but your best fit might be Shippensburg. You might fit in that rotation better. You might plug into the 3 hole as a freshman. Try to really compartmentalize what your best fit is if you're going to do that. That's what I would say, not to get caught up on the label, just because it's easy to do that. When I was in high school, I was like, I want to go D1, I want to go D1, I want to go D1. And you get there, and it is great. I mean, great players, great competition. I got to play with Alex Wood. He was our ace at Georgia, and Kyle Farmer, both in the Dodgers. Not to get caught up on the label, though.
Ben, what kind of pain were you feeling in your arm, and how fast were you throwing before the injury, and how fast after?
So before the injury, I was throwing about 92 to 94. I could really beat guys with the fastball. The soreness I felt in my arm was like right here in the forearm, and you could tell because I couldn't really straighten my arm out all the way. When I was straightening it out, I had like a little lump here. On a scale of 1 to 10, it was probably like an 8. I told myself I wasn't hurt, tried to throw through it.
Right.
Just like most athletes do when they are hurt, they just say, hey, I'm going to push through this, it'll be okay. And the eye-opener was when that coach, I was having success on the field, but I mean, you basically read the Rawlings on the ball coming in, so it wasn't a good thing. But after I was 88, 91 on a good day, some bad days, 85, 88. Some guys it's the opposite. Some guys go in and it's 85, 88, they come out there 92, 94. So kind of luck of the draw on that one.
Do you have any good or bad experiences about the recruiting process? Anybody try to do anything tricky, say anything tricky?
The recruiting process is crazy. They do try to back you into a corner. The best one-liner that I got from a coach was he called me, he's like, "You're either with us or against us." I'm just trying to pick a school, man. Trying to make enemies out here. I won't say what school it was, but yeah, I didn't go to that school. Yeah, just every coach is going to have their own objective when they're recruiting you. I had offers from Penn State, South Florida, Coastal Carolina. You just have to see what the coach wants. For instance, the coach at Coastal Carolina, my best friend went there, Tyler Herb. He found a lot of success there. When I went for my official visit there, the coach had something in his mind that I didn't think was ever going to happen. He wanted me to lose a lot of weight. Probably would have been good for me, but it was unrealistic. I think he wanted me about 220, which he won a national title, so he's doing something right down there. So, but yeah, just for instance, they're going to have their own objective of what they want to fit their prototype, their team. I've said this before too. You could be the best second baseman in the state of Pennsylvania, but you might not be good enough to go to Bloomsburg. But you could be good enough to go to Penn State. You don't know who's going to be at what school. I mean, I played against a guy that played at Nova Southeastern University, a little D2 school down in Fort Lauderdale. He's the second baseman for the San Diego Padres. I mean, just was probably got passed over. A lot of talent in Miami down there, and lands there, dominates at like 430 every year, and gets popped in like the third round. So you never know. You never really know.
I mean, you described a very incredible journey in your very brief life. So, I mean, to kind of wrap that all up to inspire these kids, like what got you through all those highs and lows? And is there a lot of luck? Is there a lot of belief in yourself? Is there a lot of, like, how do you kind of just...
I touched on it a little bit. I'll try to answer it the best I can. I do have a lot of self-confidence. You do got to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, no one else is going to believe in you. So as a leader, especially, if you want to lead the team, it's not always the most vocal guy, but you can see when people believe in themselves. Like, I'm going to come up 2 outs in the 7th inning. I'm going to get this base hit. I'm going to start this rally. Something like that. Just have that, not a cockiness, but a little bit of a chip on your shoulder. You don't have a huge ego, but you want to have that confident little swagger. Like, I like to compare it to like Steph Curry. Steph Curry has a good demeanor. He gets a little crazy sometimes. I think my support system, my mom and my dad, my family, my girlfriend. When you do have those low moments, it's good to have a good support system because, like I said, life's going to hit you hard and fast, and it's tough. And you guys have a lot more life experience than me, so you just preaching to the choir. But I talk about just staying even keel and not trying to get too high or too low. It sounds cliche, but you're going to have bad moments, bad days. You're going to have great days. Just keep pushing. Push through them. Push through the bad ones. There'll be better days ahead. So that's what I always thought, and I've always had a good work ethic and good support system. So that's, even finding a job wasn't as easy as I made it sound out to be. September to December sounded like, or felt like it lasted 2 years. Just trying to find work and substitute teaching, doing all types of things. So.
Does anybody else have any questions for Ben? Let's give him. Oh, go ahead.
When are you going to put a ring on?
Soon. Gotta get some money first. Soon enough. Trust me, she's going to
Tiffany's.
I'll be wrong with Tiffany's.
Let's have a big round of applause for Ben.